right, so unfortunately, as awesome and groovy as that was, the stream was just not taking the way it should have. So I had to change latency a little bit. I'm not gonna get 4K playback, 4K resolution, which sucks. But sorry about that. Do apologize. So, I'll hang out a little bit more, let people hopefully trail back in. And if not, we'll just do some more stuff. But I'd rather not deal with the buffering crap. So it just shows that it's been a while since I've done this. Get some more of this coffee in my system here. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Oh, there we go. Watching the stream numbers fluctuate here. It's okay. Mine's not much better, dude. No worries. That very dry humor and the sometimes very unappropriate humor. So, I guess that's the veteran in me. Good to see you, brother. Definitely good to see you. I know you're busy doing all your film stuff. It's good. It's good to see you too, Pass. Yeah, I had to stop it real quick because it's just the latency was building up, and I didn't want to have everything all buffered and stupid, so I had to change it. It's kind of that thing of, do you want 4K res or do you want a smoother stream? And I'd just rather give you guys a smoother stream. Oh, terrible puns are great. What's good? What's a good of a pun if it's not terrible? the reactions and looks on people's faces when you drop those really bad puns is it's priceless. It really is. So, you guys know what I think of the new Dir En Grey single. What do you guys think about it? Are you in love with it? Are you happy with elements of it? Do you feel like it was a little rehashed, maybe? It's definitely. I think it could go either way. I haven't either, film. I've listened to it about 10 more times, and I'm still feeling the same way that I did. Still kind of in that same zone of I'm happy with elements of it, but I'm not happy overall. I think it'll be good live. I think it might work live, but I don't know if I would want that in place of something like Vinishka or Renkaku or Blossoming Beelzebub or Macabre or something like that. So that's really the way I look at it. Yeah, the honestly, I've preferred the live versions of Blossoming Beelzebub as what I've heard from the album version. I feel like nobody producer sound engineer wise has been able to nail Dir En Grey in a studio environment as compared to how good they are in a live environment. I think that's I think they're just one of those bands that's really hard to capture just right in the studio. Now, some bands are like that. Oh, you got to see Blossoming in Poland. Oh, that had to have been spectacular. That had to have been really strong. I've heard good things about the bonus DVD. I know that was the special edition release, right? Actually, there's some stuff on the recording for Insulated World that I really like. Like I think Aka actually sounds really good live, or no, not really good live, but really good in the studio. I I'm gonna have to look it up now. There's a few that just look really good or sound really good in studio. Looking at the new record, like I think Ningen Wu Kaburu sounds really good on the record. I think Values of Madness sounds really good on the record. I think the grit in Devote My Life sounds pretty good also. So I'm definitely curious to see those live. It's gonna be hard to stay away from the set list when they start popping out in like October, November when they start playing live again. Because we'll get an idea of what you'll probably see here. And being that I'm in the middle, or actually not even the middle, towards the end of that tour in the States, there's going to be several days worth of set list. Like, I think the Houston date is the second to last date on the tour. So there'll be plenty of set lists available to see what they're playing in previous dates. So Texas, there's 2 stops in Texas and there's 1 in Mexico City. Do Dir En Grey tend to modify their set lists? I know they wind up having everything scripted, because I remember the London date a few months ago, I guess back in February, when they lost the files, that they wound up having to go off stage and figure out what they could play without the samples and the backing tracks. Okay, so you're looking at a small variation. You're looking at like 2 to 3 tracks as opposed to pulling a Dream Theater where they just might change the entire set that night because they feel like it. And I tell you, man, it's crazy to think, sitting here tonight, that we've been doing this now here on the channel for 2 years. Unreal. Never thought I'd make it to 1. Never mind. Be 2 years into it and looking to do even more. So, pretty awesome. And I'm so glad to see a few of you here in chat tonight. I really should have put up a video announcing this, but week's been a little busier than I thought it would be. So I know Phil, of course, is looking forward to Liebach coming to town. Other than Dir En Grey, or going to see Liebach, other than Dir En Grey, what are people like? What bands are people really dying to see this year? Yeah, I know, dude. It's crazy to think that I've had Patreon subscribers for over a year now that have been the same. And, you know, it's also one of those things where I've talked to so many of you for over a year, and I see the same I see a lot of the same names pop up in or out of videos, so you feel that connection and that kinship. Oh, well, Muck. You know, massive thanks to you guys for really pushing the Muck stuff. Those have been so great, so enjoyable. Their record this year is probably, and I didn't expect it to be, but I think it's gonna wind up making it on to my favorite records of the year list. I really do. I don't know how many records I'm gonna limit myself to on it, but that record was just really fantastic. It kind of feels similar to what some other bands have done, where it just feels like they've taken a lot of the elements from their career and really mashed them together to finally get this cohesive sound that kind of covers different aspects of who they are. And I'm really happy with that. Yeah, Rob, I should have done that last year and I didn't. I just kind of, because there were records that I didn't get a chance to cover that it got away from me. But I'm definitely going to do one this year. Oh, what is the name of the Mux record this year? I've got it in iTunes. I did a video on it, but it's in kanji, so I can't read the translation here. Orbit Culture is a band that I've started to hear more of. I stumbled upon them on Spotify, and they're really good. All the Orbit Culture stuff I've heard so far has been really impressive. I want to dive into them a bit more and explore them a bit more. I can also say, though, as far as the top album of 2019, I haven't heard anything that's going to change it. Maybe something might, but so far, my top record is still The Atlantic by Evergrey. I have not heard a record this year yet that hits me that hard. Oh wow, I've heard Ghost are really good live. I can't completely get into their music, but they sound really outstanding. From what I've heard about them live, performance aspects are quite good. God, I haven't thought about Big Bad Voodoo Daddy in probably since my teenage years, back in the 90s. I think that's the last time I heard of them. I didn't know they were still doing stuff. It's okay, dude. I look at stuff now, Dominic, and I feel old too. I mean, to think that people no longer get Airheads or Wayne's World references hurts my feelings. So, at this point, I just have to accept the fact that I'm getting old. Oh, it's been almost 18. It's been almost 18 minutes since I've restarted the stream. What am I checking out tonight? Let's get something going. Oh. No suggestions? All right. Well, you know what? In honor. Yeah, man. What do we got, Dominic? What do you got for me? I've got the new Sukekia record. I have it. I'm going to do it. It's just one of those that, in the midst of a lot of the Patreon requests that I still owe, I have not gotten to it. But that's another one of those records that I get a lot of mixed feelings about. I've heard some people that really love it. I hear others that don't love it so much. So You should just be able to copy and paste it into the chat. I tell you what, though, that new record from... Oh, goodness, now I'm completely spacing on it. I don't know why I don't have... It shouldn't be blocking this stuff. It's so weird. I'll type the name of it and I'll find it. I'll just look for it real quick. Lance King album, 80s. Bug Eye or Dredge. Okay, Bug Eyes. All right. I've never heard him. Let's see what we've got. Dredge, Bug Eyes. Really interesting soundscapes though. Good, comfortable groove. Really like that drum mix. It's got a really cool tone to his voice. First, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but he's got a really cool tone. Definitely has that like 2005, 2006 alt rock sound. Like that kind of atmospheric tremolo picked guitar sound there. Oh goodness, I'm trying to think of the name of the band this kind of reminds me of. I just can't draw it. Yeah, drum mix sounds fantastic, Rob, you're right. Really clear. Nice little fill there. It's short. That bit of vibrato he's tossing in, coming out of those phrases, is a really cool touch. That delivery really takes that phrase and changes it too. Gotta love the piano and the drum combination. Like the tenderness and the emotion that he's putting off in the vocal here. Lyrics are really powerful too. Like how that snare is building and you get that synth kind of building up there. Oh, that wasn't synth. That was an effect on the guitar. It's tremolo. That's that tremolo picked riff. I'm gonna have to check out more of these guys. This is really good. Did you catch that little bit where the string was hanging off the bass? Clearly they fixed that in some of the other shots. Wow. That is an absolute surprise. That's a great recommendation right there, dude. That's fantastic. That's really surprising. I didn't expect that, but I can see how they probably incorporate the Screamo a little bit. That might be a bit too much. I never really could get into the Screamo thing. But that was awesome. That's a great recommendation. And I definitely like the fact that the drummer is the piano player as well. That's got to be interesting. And I wonder how they balance that out live, or if they hire a keyboard player, because it's got to be difficult. The Screamo is not too great. I can definitely see that. I have not heard of Dayseeker. What do they sound like? What's a good track to check out? I have not heard the new Opeth record yet. I approached the new Opeth record kind of like I approached the new Tool record, with the sense of hesitation. Like, I want it to be really good. But I don't know. Opeth has really changed their sound. Check out Dayseeker here. All right, let's just check out the new one here. All right, let's check out Sleep Talk. All right, Dayseeker, Sleep Talk, another band I haven't heard anything from. Oh, it's so polished. I can hear the pitch correction, and that just turns me off. He's got a really smooth tone, but I can also hear the artifacts from the pitch correction, and that's just... I don't like that. It's so sterile in the mix and the production. And unfortunately, it sounds like the majority of what's coming out. It's like insert vocalist and band here. I've just heard so many bands that sound similar. The mix just, it's like it has no balls to it. I'm not feeling the emotion. And I struggle with auto-tune and pitch correction. It's like they cut part of his voice out, or they just mixed it in a weird way where you're just not getting the impact. I want to hear the passion and the emotion and the power out of him. The guitar tones just sound... they sound neutered. I don't know, man. Like, I like the solo here. I wish they would use that as an accent, or that it's kind of more of an accent. Wish they'd use that accent line for a little bit more. It sounds like a pop track with heavier guitars. Like, the drums sound sampled. It's like I'm lacking the humanity in the playing. It's like they took the influence of bands like Architects and went ultra poppy with it. I don't know, because as far as the rawness in the voice, I've never really liked pitch correction. It's just not something I dig. Growing up in the 80s and the 90s, I'm used to singers actually having to sing and having to really push themselves. And with pitch correction, like, I want to be able to hear the musicians play. I don't want to hear how good a producer is at cleaning things up and changing it, because it strips the identity out of the tracks for me. Like when bands record to a grid, and I feel like having that breakup or having those little parts to a singer's voice make them unique. You know, heck, even earlier today when I did the video for Blame Zeus for No, you can hear those little things, even though there is some vocal layering and whatnot, and you know, you can hear those little things, those little bits of breakup. And I feel like, Kyo is a great example. What Kyo manages to do, especially in his younger days when he hadn't blown his voice out several times. Kyo's not a traditional singer. You know, he sings, I think a lot of his appeal is because he was so raw, and he's really able to make you feel the passion and the power in his voice because of the different directions he could take it. And I think that's important. You want to be blown away. At least I was blown away. A couple of years ago, Billy Sheehan posted a video, or YouTube video, of the raw, isolated vocal tracks from the track To Be With You by Mr. Big. And it's just the vocal tracks. It's just the isolated vocals. And man, I've got to be honest, what their vocalist was able to do, when you just hear that alone, that's a powerful, powerful performance. And I don't know if you'd get that today. I feel like today, especially with mainstream music, be it pop, country, hip hop, there's this emphasis and onus on perfection, and the producer, through auto-tune and grids and sample replacement, are just, they're taking the humanity and the human element out of it. Five Iron Frenzy by Diablo Swing Orchestra. Oh, let's see here. Actually, let's get back here. All right. So Shadow of Intent, The Gathering. All right, we'll check that out, and then we'll check out Pinkish Black from film. So let's do Shadow of Intent here, The Gathering. All right, Shadow of Intent, The Gathering of All, featuring Alex Terrible. I feel like I should know that. All right. Mix is weird. The vocals are so processed. This sounds like Infant Annihilator. The same kind of level of like parody and goofiness, and the same kind of feeling. Those drums are so high. Bass sound is cool. It's nice to be able to hear that there. An especially weedily solo. Kind of sounds a little clinical. The synth work is interesting. Yeah, I agree, man. The solo does seem back in the mix. Those drums are so forward. Like, it's too forward for me. They're dominating the riffs. It's kind of drowning other elements out. There's your deathcore breakdown. The vocals are really processed, but they do draw out the kind of pig growls pretty well. The synth work is kind of a cool touch. Like the lead work, wish it was up more. But that drum mix just dominates everything else. Nah, brother, you're not late. We're just throwing it on. I should have posted up an announcement, and I didn't. That's my fault. The other thing about it is, like, it's not even the drum kit, it's really the kick and the snare. That's, like, the rest of the kit isn't as cohesive. Like the piano closing out there, in some ways, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Bohemians. With some of the little things they were doing. It's interesting, but the outro is great. The lyric video is really well done. But overall, the mix just kills it for me. It's tough. The drums are just so forward, and I really hear it in the set of headphones. There's some cool points to it. The piano, the heavy piano, the solos were actually much better than I expected for death metal and deathcore. But I like a different kind of vocal in death metal like that. So I know Phil's got to go here in a couple. I know he's staying up late over there in Poland. And I want to get to this Pinkish Black track real quick. But that was there were definitely some cool moments to it. I feel like I've heard of Alex Terrible before. I don't know. I can't place the name. I'm guessing he's from somebody else. Pinkish Black. Concept unification. All right. Hey, Waggo. All right, brother. We're gonna dive into this one for you real quick. From Relapse. So I think you mentioned something about these guys. Another band I have not heard at all before. They're on Relapse Records. It's Pinkish Black. It's Concept Unification. And let's check them out. Slaughter to Prevail. That's who that is. Okay. Cool little synth intro here. Like that lower register down there. Definitely like the industrial and the synth elements there. The drum sound is great. I really like that. That's a cool tone, like texture there going over top. I like it when electronic bands use organic percussion. That's always something that really gets me going. Those melodies are really haunting. I like that effect on the vocals, that kind of choral effect. Very chilling. The mood is pretty impressive. Yeah, it really is eerie. It just makes you feel on edge. You're right, Wago. It's a really cool texture, whatever they're doing with it. Might be a phase thing. That cool, really subdued, like keyboard line with the different layers of synth and the phasing is just a really odd play on the emotions. And I love how they're doing it, but they're using organic drums. Yes, I know Neil is very happy with the new Dirk Poor Robin stuff that they've done. It's all about the textures, the moods here. Definitely tell why you like it film, because it does have that film score, almost like I don't want to say horror movie. I want to say like thriller kind of feeling, where it just keeps you on edge, builds that tension, and never releases it. So I can definitely see you guys always throw out some really cool stuff when I get a chance to do a live stream. It's always really, really interesting because we go from the really cool Dredge track, very alt rocky, to deathcore, to spooky, like thematic music that would be in a thriller kind of a movie. Really cool stuff. That was definitely really interesting. It's one of those things. It feels like it would be mid part to a record. I'd hate to think that would wind up being the last part of a record. All right, man. Take it easy, Film. It's always good to see you, my friend. It's an opening song. Okay, so It kind of builds that tension, and eventually you get the release later in the record. I can definitely see that. All right. So I said something about Diablo Swing Orchestra. I'll do a Tap Dancer's Dilemma. I feel like I've done something from them. I'm not sure. I feel like somebody said something about that before, but I haven't. As long as they're not on a major, if they're on a major label, that might be a little bit of a that might possibly pause the stream. Of course, man. Of course. I'm doing this for you guys. Nice way to get a bunch of tracks that I haven't been able to have a chance to get to. I hate having things back up, and I hate owing Patreon requests. So I always try to get to those and try to get to the stuff I know bands are asking me for first, because especially covering smaller bands when a release comes up, even though it might only get 150, 200 views here on the channel, because, you know, I learned a long time ago that sub count really doesn't mean anything, because a lot of people are a fan of certain bands and they're just kind of going to sit in their box. So, but even then, if I can get a little bit of a different crowd to take a look at something and somebody likes it and they share it, then that's kind of how promotion and word of mouth really works. But let's check this Diablo Swing Orchestra track out. I agree, Rob. You know, that's the hardest thing when you're trying to promote bands and you're trying to help a band out, is it's hard to get people to step outside of their comfort zones and understand that there's so much more out there. And I see it so much where people say, "Oh, well, there's no good music anymore." What are you talking about? What do you mean there's no good music anymore? There's thousands upon thousands of bands out there busting their butts, writing and recording music. And there's really good stuff out there. You just have to look for it, and you have to be willing to step outside of a box that you've put yourself in, because there's a lot of stuff out there. Nuno Miranda, my friend, it is good to see you, brother. It is good to see you. Nuno is one of my longtime Portuguese subscribers. Great guy, big supporter of so many of those bands. This guy's merch collection is pretty amazing, actually. I'm envious of his merch collection, and he's turned me on to a lot of good stuff, and actually helped me form relationships with a lot of Portuguese bands, and I'm really proud of what I've been able to do with that scene, especially. I've got a giveaway. I'm going to give away some copies of Equileft Sweet of Fire record, which I absolutely love. And all right, let's see here. Looks like Wagyu, let's see here. Mari Hamada. All right. This was a tip request, so I'm going to have to do this. Thank you so much, by the way. That's amazing. Mari Hamada, and the track is Hi. I'm not seeing it, man. Okay. HIIUK. Let's see. Trying to find the link to that here. Yes, I do. Okay. I don't know why it's killing the links. And I don't know how to fix that here. Stay Gold, okay. Stay Gold, full version. All right, let's do it. Cool. Like that opening riff. Oh, all right. Kind of a bombastic symphonic power metal sound. Heck of a voice. Big sweeping vibrato. There's something about what the Japanese do with their vibrato and just how well they use it. Riffs are huge. Wow. Go for the backing vocalist. Wow. That's pretty powerful. Her little sister, Stay Gold. Okay. I'm liking this. It's really interesting how much the Japanese love that big symphonic power metal sound. There's a lot of really good bands doing that stuff from there these days. Wish the guitars were up a bit in the mix, but it's alive so I can understand it. Her sister's got just as good of a voice, man. Robert, it's good to see you, brother. Oh, that's your Akira Takahashi from Loudness. Nice. Definitely get that 80s kind of feel with that big tap phrasing there. Looks like he's using some kind of BC Rich. Looks kind of like a modified stealth body. Great feel. All right. Oh, she definitely picked up a great guitar player. The guys in Loudness are awesome. Wow. All right. Ooh. It's not Tim Ripper Owens level sustained, but it's pretty close. That's impressive. Love that run there. That's continuing. Oh my goodness. Now he's cutting loose. Love that he took advantage of the room offered there and really let go. She's got a heck of a voice. That's really, really, really impressive. Wow. Yes, that is the mug from Oktoberfest. Killer licks there. He's just going to work. Outstanding. He's only gotten better over the years. Mari Hamada, stay gold. Wow. With Akira from Loudness? Sure, why not? Oh, that was fantastic. That was awesome. Whew. Well, if you're going to hire a guitar player, certainly hire a good one. The first time I heard Loudness, I was blown away. I continue to be blown away. Akira is just a killer player. And man, she has got a voice. Her sister's got a voice. That was really impressive. I'm kind of speechless. Wago, I can completely understand that, man. I have not had a chance to see Loudness live. You know, Mike Viscera sang for them for a bit as well. He also sang for Yngwie, and he's got a couple of... He's still really big in Japan. He's done some other stuff as well. He's doing another project that's doing a lot of the Japanese stuff. And still really enjoy the Loudness stuff. Robert, I could completely understand it, brother. That's a tough one. However, Manhattan decided to, to give a sponsored post, so I've got to take the request. And actually, it's one that I want to do anyway. There's a band that I stumbled upon recently. They're called Orbit Culture, and they've got a new single out. Stumbled upon them on Spotify, and their new track, Nemsha, is out. I think the track I checked out was Red Fog. And I was actually really impressed. So I haven't heard this track yet. I was kind of holding off on listening to a lot more because I wanted to do them on the channel. And this just gives me an excuse to do that. Robert, I think you'll like these guys. The band is Orbit Culture, and the track is Nensha, and it's certainly going to be good because it's different enough from the utter insanity and awesomeness of the Mari Hamada track. So let's go ahead and get into it. It's Orbit Culture, it's Nensha, and here we go. Oh yeah. Tight, heavy, gated riffing there. I like that kind of hollow, really pick heavy sound there. Kind of machine-like percussion. It's really interesting the tone they've got. It's very mechanical. Really like that kick sound being used. I really like that tone on his voice. It's kind of like Rob Zombie meets Edsel Dope meets Alexi Lejo from Children of Bodom. That big processed vocal kind of cuts through. The aggression here is outstanding. Yeah, it's got a cool vibe to it, man. Great fills there. I like that big, like, phase flanger-like sound there. It's interesting. Clearly that wall of sound in the mix is intentional. They're clearly going for a texture there. Yeah, the drummer is insanely good. You're right. I like that change up in the drumming. That combination of the semi-clean and the melodic textures are really cool vocally. Really love that drum pattern. Wow. And they're gonna go somewhere. That is a killer tone. Wow. Yeah, I really like that time signature, Robert. You're right. That's a really cool shift. Claudio, good to see you, man, from Chile. That's awesome. Got to be late for you, brother. Cool way to come out of that. Really heavily layered vocals. That big kick tone just blasted away there. Oh! Cool. Kind of love that, like, Fear Factory, like, feeling I'm getting. There's a lot of different elements wrapped into this track. That's a cool shift. Really like that riff. Like, these riffs coming in later, awesome. Yeah, I agree that the songwriting here is really, really impressive. There's that cool, almost Gojira-like pick scraping. Love how haunting those synths were. The back half of that, too. That was really, really cool. They closed that out so well. They had so many directions they could have went. And it's interesting which direction they chose to come out with. The first track I heard from them was Red Fog, and it was really impressive. That's a different step. That's definitely a different change for them, and they've just mashed so many things together and made it work so cohesively. Yeah, it's always interesting what pops up, because I do so many different things. So it's like, we've got Orbit Culture, we've got Kill Switch, we've got Unlucky Morpheus. Of course, Unlucky Morpheus is amazing. We've got Discarded, which, by the way, that whole Discardant record is amazing. Got Betraying the Martyrs. Well, good old Soko Ninaru, Maridelis, Periphery. Oh no, Hetfield's back in rehab. That sucks. I'll tell you what, talking about Soko Ninaru, man, what an EP. That Soko Ninaru EP is awesome. I think Robert said it best a couple of months ago. One of the best 20-something minutes that he spent in his life. And I can't disagree. I think it's definitely one of the best EPs that I have heard. I've shown Soko Ninaru to people that aren't into that style, that are just blown away by it. I have only heard the one track from Nocturnal Bloodlust since the new one. Yeah, I agree, Robert. That 20 minutes is packed. That whole Soko Ninaru EP is just so strong. There's so much musicianship and so much clever songwriting wrapped in that 20 minutes. Talk about a good bang for your buck. If you're gonna listen to some post rock or some progressive stuff with some really catchy choruses and stuff, well, the Soko Ninaru EP will not hurt your feelings. You know, might have to get to it against that track tonight. I think I had that Diablo Swing Orchestra track up. Check that. That was requested. I'm going to check that out. Tap Dancer's Dilemma. We're really going to go all over the place here. All right. Diablo Swing Orchestra. I've never heard them. The track is a Tap Dancer's Dilemma. Let's see what we've got. I tell you what, you're not going to get bored bouncing around from genre to genre tonight. One thing I love about the channel is you get exposed to so much different stuff. Very, very cool. Definitely get that big band feeling. You're right. That's what it, you're right. That's why I know them, Robert. They do such a great job, and you know, having dealt more with Deer Hunter and Dirt Poor Robins and some of the other stuff that I've been covering lately, this just fits in so well. All these different textures and riffs and elements here. You certainly do get that swing. Ah, Gorilla Laments, you're right. Love that big band feel. I love that big moving bass line there. Really cool riff there. Love the little fills and the throwbacks to the different eras here. Great solo. Clearly somebody pulled out their semi-hollow for that. Good question there, Dominic. So many different elements. Sounds awesome. Great vocals here. Love how things just keep moving and shifting. Oh. There's so many little things, like trying to capture all of it in one listen is almost impossible. Love that subtlety of the cymbal work there. I want to see these guys live. I really do. Love the heaviness of those tones too. I'm always amazed when bands are able to compose stuff like this and do it so well. Awesome. That was a ton of fun. That's just highly amusing, highly enjoyable. And I think there was a couple different solos in there. There was the very clean semi solo that was from a semi hollow guitar of some kind, probably something similar to a Gretsch or like a Gibson 335 or something. There was a trumpet. There were some other little elements. Just impressive. I certainly do covers, man. I used to do covers Saturday. I was doing that for quite some time, but then Saturdays became incredibly busy. And I realized that I just wasn't making up for it, so I kind of don't want to commit to certain days anymore, just because I never know when I'm going to be able to get things done. You know, more and more getting into bands like the Deer Hunter. Oh goodness, Santiago's here, and so is Robert. What was the record that I did last week? It shows you how much I cover when sometimes I don't remember it without looking at it. But there's another record along this similar lines. Love the record too. But I just can't completely remember it. We definitely are getting into covering a lot of different stuff. I mean, we've had alt rock, we've had death metal, we've had swing. There's a lot. We've had power metal. The streams here are always so interesting. I haven't heard a lot of Polaris. I know some people swear by him. Scrolling back through here and making sure I haven't missed anything crazy yet. Thanks, Axel. I appreciate it, man. Act 3's coming. I want to get to it hopefully within 10 days to 2 weeks. I try not to commit too much because I don't want to get people really psyched up for something and then have something come up and I miss it. So I'd rather not promise and then completely miss it. Claudio, I see it, man. Please, I've seen it pop up like 2 or 3 times now. I'll take a look at it. 2X, a Romper, La Calma. All right. All right. Was I going back a little bit here for a Chilean band called 2X or a Romper La Calma. Haven't covered a ton of Chilean metal or Chilean bands. Yeah, I don't want to cover the Deer Hunter, like some of these, like Dirt Poor Robins and others. Like, I don't want to cover that stuff out of order because really the order of things is so important with those stories. So I'm really happy to be able to go through those records in the chronological setup. So we're gonna go ahead and check this out. It's Romper La Calma, and here we go. See what we get. Skateboards. Cool tones. Kind of got a new metal feel. Holy St. Anger snare, Batman. I think they mistook their snare for a steel drum, or a steel drum for a snare. Riffs kind of remind me of like early 90s Suicidal Tendencies. Like that little tasty shift there. Those little descending chugs are nifty. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Zac de la Rocha in looks and in his vocal tone. I like these tempo changes. I just wish their drummer would punctuate them. Little cool, really cool slap bass though. Do you get a real Suicidal Tendencies like feel here? There's your turntables. Like that little pinch harmonic there. Or that correction, not little pinch harmonic, but a little harmonic. It did kind of give me a Limp Bizkit vibe. There's a lot of changes. Love all these shifts. This track is really one that builds on you. It kind of grows. Like that rolling double bass there. I feel like you even get a little bit of Rocky in that solo. That was great. That was a whole ton of fun. It really does give me that early 90s Suicidal Tendencies feeling, only kind of mixed in with a bit heavier on the new metal elements, the turntables and the Limp Bizkit isms, a little bit of the Korn-isms coming in. But you'll laugh. The first time I ever heard Korn, which was their first record, and I actually thought that Suicidal Tendencies had released a really bad record, and it was just a Suicidal Tendencies record. So I know. I can't really say I'm a huge Korn fan. I've grown to love some of them, but I really did think I was listening to Suicidal Tendencies at first. Oh, well, I go, man. You're taking care of me tonight. Enforcer, another pay request here from Wago. Seriously, thank you, dude. I didn't even think about it. I was just doing the stream for you guys tonight because it's been so long. Enforcer. And the track is Undying Evil. I've heard good things. I don't know if I've ever actually heard them. Okay, so it's kind of similar to new wave of British heavy metal stuff. I kind of figured that with the name like Enforcer and that kind of a logo. And they're signed to Nuclear Blast, so that's not surprising. Huh. Killer views on this for a 4-year-old track. All right. Let's check it out. It's Enforcer. It's Undying Evil. Apparently very 80s. You know what? After this, if you're a fan of this, there's a Portuguese band who just released a new track that I want to show you guys. Oh, yeah. Definitely get that 80s throwback sound here. You know, the vocalist slash guitar player reminds me a bit of the singer from Triumph. Oh, yeah. I feel like I forgot my denim and my leather pants in the other room. Very familiar, very enjoyable. Just expect both guitar players to lock axes and start soloing here. Like that very 80s cymbal tone on and drum tone in general. This is just fun, man. This is just enjoyable. It's amazing how many more bands are doing that, like 80s traditional metal sound. Great riffing here. Oh, I hope I don't get demonetized for that. Oh, I'm not monetized. The stream is monetized anyway, so I probably won't get demonetized. Great solo. Like that big harmony there. I am too, Dominic. I really am. I'm so glad there's so many bands still playing this style. Love the way he opened that solo. Really killer legs. I will say I'm actually kind of surprised they allowed this video up on YouTube. If I was watching a music video, not softcore porn. All right. New sacrificial vampire of night. That was a lot of fun, man. That was just really enjoyable. A lot of fun. Highly enjoyable. And it has all the hallmarks you expect from an 80s metal track. So it's like they went back into the vault to figure out what those tones sounded like and how they could emulate them. I mean, Rockin' Gibson's has cool passive tones. The drums sound authentic. They sound like period correct. The video's cheesy. It's glorious. It really is just what you look for, what you expect. It has that very familiar, nostalgic feeling. And seeing as we're doing that, there's a band of young guys that I love in Portugal. Their name's Takasaki. And they just kicked out their new record. I've been holding off. But we're kind of in that vibe. They just kicked out the video for Cursed and Punished, their new record, which just came out. And let's do a little Cursed and Punished. And then I will get to Rob for Josie Saucy. And yes, there was some naked ladies. All right. So here's Toxico, Cursed and Punished. And then we'll hit up Rob. These guys are all like mid-20s dudes, man. Uh-oh. Ha! All right. We're back. Can't let it go on that note. That'd be so disappointing. Oh, all right. Well, I know the Toxical guys aren't going to get mad at me. I know I can get away with that one. While I'm at it, though, I'm going to quickly set up the Rob request here. Josie Saucy here. Of course, the question is who owns it? Because Desert Butterfly. All right, open up that as well. Oh, it's good to see you too, Pasio. It's nice to be back. I don't get a chance to do these as much. I could probably get away with doing them on Saturdays or Sundays, but unfortunately I do. Friday is my early day in the gym, so I am kind of taken up. And by the time I get out, I'm wiped out. So I certainly do miss doing these on a regular basis. But the changes I've made in the past roughly 7 months, just under 7 months, it's been worth it. I had to make a change, and I'm certainly glad I did. All right, brother. In that case, let's go ahead and do this Josie Saucy track for you if you're gonna head out to the gym. Then I'll do Toxico. So, requested by Mr. Rob. Josie Saucy. Dude, I'm still blown away. I've got the Tremonti stuff sitting down beside me over there. And, it's so pretty. Let's go ahead and get into it. The musician is Josie Saucy. The track is Desert Butterfly. All right. Familiar melodies here. Yeah. It's an instrumental. Okay, cool. I'm guessing it's guitar driven. Really love that shift. You hear that different guitar layering. I feel like you can hear a 12-string back there. Really pretty. Love his progression choices. It does sound like Batman. I'm not gonna lie. You know, Pasio, I'm so happy to be doing this as long as I have. This is so cool. A lot of different textures going on. There's this little electronic texture back there. It's kind of acting like a percussion accent. That's very cool. Love that solo. Sounds like sitar almost. This is just beautiful. There's that kick. Wow. Wasn't expecting that to kick in like that. It almost lulled me into that false sense of security. Gorgeous tones. I love how rich and full that bass texture is. This is just beautiful the way it's evolved. Yeah, I didn't expect the shifts. Wow. So interesting. Feels like different songs. Wow. That was awesome. It's such a combination of different things with that massive solo section. Not what I was expecting. And I when I hear of guitar instrumentals, I expect to have this very cohesive feeling. And it's just these different textures put together and meshed to make it all work with a beautiful, gorgeous, like full band solo. It sounded like some sitar leading into it. Very, very cool. I really, really enjoyed that. But it's so awesome to be here 2 years later, to think about where the channel came from and how it's become. Oh wow! Thanks, Manatine, man. All right, we'll get the Polaris here. Next August, for a couple of, probably for 10 days to 2 weeks. I'm working out the logistics and the planning of it. But I'm going to go over to Portugal, and there's going to have a couple of shows booked with some of the bands that I've covered, some of the bands I've become very close with. And I hope to end up at the Milagre Metalario Festival. It's a 3-day festival that happens every year. It's a free festival that happens up in the northern part of Portugal. So spend some time up there. I want to be able to get a lot of content shot with so many of the bands that I've had a chance to cover and work with over the past couple, or at least now we're coming on 18 months or over 18 months, because I started covering the Portuguese scene in January of 2018. So when I get over there, it'll be about 2.5 years, a little over that. And get a lot of footage shot, get a couple of shows booked. There's going to be at least one in Porto. There's going to be one in Lisbon, and maybe one or two more. We'll have to see how things work out and what we can get done. But that's going to be amazing. Be a ton of content that I'll wind up releasing after that. But this channel's allowed me so many different opportunities. It's going to be really impressive. And I have some other opportunities dealing with them that just came up. So I'm grateful. I'm thankful for all of you guys. Without the support of people like you guys, I wouldn't have the opportunities the channel's afforded me. It's been really amazing, and I'm just so thankful. Eventually, I wanted to have it started up this month, but some things have happened. But there is a new series coming to the channel that'll start out on the channel. Eventually, it might migrate to its own channel. I don't want to release too many details, but it's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. My brother's going to help me out with it. That's just going to be great. So hopefully when that finally goes, we'll get that done too. We're gonna get some Polaris going on, it looks like. Polaris and Consumed. I've heard really good things. I know a lot of people have said great things about the band. And I just haven't managed to get into it. Or haven't managed to get to it. So, Polaris. Consume. I think I'm kind of on the tail end of the bandwagon here. Here we go. Maybe I'll add this to one of my new workout playlists. Like the way it's opening up. Very cool tap phrasing there. It definitely has a very modern metalcore feeling. Extended range guitars, big tap phrasing, a lot of those atmospherics. Like the vocals. That's a really cool harmonic in that riff there. Like those atmospherics. I like the balls to this. I like the fact that the mix isn't completely sterile. Love that riff. Great harmony there. You know, that breakdown is so subtle and it just came right into it. I like how there wasn't a massive lead-in. This has got a great groove and feel to it. I'm not sure how I feel about the cleans. Cool effects on them, and I don't feel like they detract from anything. Really like that accent riff. Love how strong that bass is there. Such a familiar riff, but I like it. It works really well here. It's almost like a riff you'd hear from Alter Bridge. Love the lead tone. Really strong solo. That was enjoyable. I've clearly missed the boat on these guys, and I shouldn't have. Really like that polyrhythm there. Outstanding. Awesome. That was actually really, really good, and I kind of feel slightly stupid that in the 2+ years that I've been, or the 2 years that I've been doing this, is the first time I've done them on the channel. So that was really good. Guys, I think I got about maybe 20, 30 more minutes left in me. Oh, dude, it's great. Great, Robert. It's great that your son's watching. I'm honored, man. I really am. Even besides, it's only 9:14 your time, right? You should be fine. That was actually really good. It was really enjoyable. I know some people will argue a little bit there about if it's gent or it's metalcore. To be honest, I think what people consider to be gent these days really is just modern metalcore. It's still got the hardcore influence. It still has a lot of the hallmarks. You just don't have as much of the new wave of Swedish death metal influence in modern metalcore as you did in a lot of the early metalcore, like the As They Lay Dying stuff, All That Remains, Shadows Fall, Kill Switch, and a lot of that really were pulling a lot from bands like At the Gates and In Flames and Dark Tranquillity and that kind of stuff. It's different. It's a little more modern. All right, Mors Subita. Oh, Cameo will get me blocked. Cameo, I've had Cameo videos shut down immediately. Unfortunately. Sadly. Magu, you're going crazy on me tonight, brother. Wow. Thank you so much. Dead Sun. All right. So similar to what we just got. Melodic death thrash from Finland. Do I want to do the live version, it looks like? I know Malice Miser, they're the live one. Okay, cool. All right. Dead Sun. And here we go. Okay. Definitely more of that Finnish melodic death metal feeling. Totally. Love the synchronized headbang. You never know how difficult that is until you're up on stage headbanging with a lot of other dudes. I like how they put a little bit of that live sound into what's clearly a video. I like the guy's voice a lot. Warner will block it immediately. Warner's one of the biggest, and they're a pain to get around. Warner stuff I pretty much have to do on BitChute. No, these guys are awesome. Really comforting, really familiar. I love the dryness and that just crunchy pick drag you're hearing on these riffs. Just that, it just got such a bite to it. He's almost got a bit of a hardcore edge to his vocals, even though the track doesn't really have any hardcore in it. Love those big synths there. That's great. Vocalist in a way kind of almost reminds me of the singer from Threat Signal. Love the clarity in this lead tone. Great lead. A little bit of fireworks, a little bit of emotion. Like that little bit of synth there. The fake band that impaled rectum in the Heavy Trip film. Okay. Right. Impaled rectum. Oh, I'm definitely going to have to hear more of these guys. Love that ride bell, how crisp and piercing it is. Awesome. All right. That's fantastic. And of course, doing a great job of mixing that live audio in there at the end of it. Nice choice. Oh, dude, I agree, Robert. You know, one of the things I love about the channel is whenever we do a live stream, it's not stuck in one spot. Like, we're not restricted to just metal or to just one type of metal from one country. We're getting Japanese stuff. We're getting stuff from all over the world. And the channel has really broke me out of a rut. You know, when I started this channel, I thought, man, I know a ton about rock and metal. I've been listening to it for a long time. I've been doing reviews. I've been booking bands and promoting. I'm not going to find a ton of new stuff. Man, was I wrong. I found so many bands and so many. The Japanese scene just completely opened up to me. The Portuguese scene has opened up to me. And that's a family that I've never met in person at this point. The scene in Serbia, there's some great bands there. The Indonesian scene, those guys are amazing. I believe it or not, the most watched videos I've done that have like hundreds of thousands of views are from Indonesia, which is pretty crazy. So it's been really amazing. I think I've got like one or two more left in me, but I have drank coming on like 2.5 pots of coffee since we've been sitting here. And eventually nature and its bullhorn are going to be screaming my name. So So we'll get a couple more in here. Zhang, Chilean, let's see here. Criminal, Incubus, Chilean metal band. All right. South Korean indie rock. I loved my time in Korea. I absolutely did. I love that country. I love those people. Just amazing. It's an amazing place. All right, Criminal, Incubus. Here we go. Whoa. All right. And that kicks you in the face really quick. Wow. Love the clarity in the riffs. Love the tones. It's like Megadeth mixed with death metal. Yes, Dominic, I was stationed in Korea for a year. Oh man, these riffs are nasty. Great fills. Track's so good I can even overlook the really clicky kick sound. Love that little tremolo pigs riff. Great scream there. This track just kind of kicks you in the balls. Wow, he just comes out swinging. Structuring the solo really well. Love the way he was able to get around the fretboard. Love those clean tones. That's not what I needed to see, though. These riffs are crushing. Love that breakup and like almost snarl in the end of that passage vocally. Wow. All right. Whew. That was criminal. That was Incubus. And that was just smoking. Wow. Damn. That was really impressive. Man. Where have they been and why have I not heard of them before? That was just crushing. I'm highly impressed. Absolutely stellar. All right, I'm going to do one last one here. Man, once again, dude, you were an animal tonight. Thank you so much. I don't think I've ever had this many. I always try to get to things, but I don't think I've ever had this many pay requests in a stream at once. I never expect stuff like this. I just don't. I always think that's reserved for people with channels that are far bigger than mine. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to do this for you guys again. So truly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We're gonna do a band called Aviana and Red Sky. A Rising Empire, so it looks like a small label, so shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, I am too, man. I'm happy to be here. It's nice. You guys will have to think about a time that works on a different day, maybe like a Saturday or a Sunday, in between my normal workout schedule. It's typically on a gym day. I am so wiped out from the gym that typically if I don't get it done before I go, then it's not gonna happen. So Monday through Friday tend to be out for streaming. That's why I try to get videos done more and more earlier on during the day. But this is great. I've missed this. I really have. Yeah, they're a surprise. I agree. That criminal track was absolutely nasty. All right, last one we're going to do tonight. This is going to Manatine. It is Aviana. It's Red Sky. And here we go. Love the kind of effect on those drum tones. It's got kind of that effect where you're listening into the tone. Definitely has more of that modern metalcore feel, and you're already kind of getting that big groove. Get that very jet-like chug there. Very, very layered and processed aggressives. Problem with vocals that are this processed is I feel like I don't get a feel for the vocalist. But it seems to be a big thing for most modern gent metalcore. Love the grooves. Playing with Crystal Lake, no wonder they sound this way. I actually like his cleans. He's got a cool tone. I just wish I could hear them a little bit better. They're kind of buried in between the guitar work and, like they're buried between the riff and the harmony. Yeah, that's my big thing, Dominic, is I feel like the vocals are a bit buried, or not even buried, but sandwiched. They're kind of breaking down the breakdown. The vocals are just really weird in the mix. I feel like my favorite thing about this is those cool accent lines with the guitars. There's just so much layering and so much processing. Really like the clean vocal passage here. I think it's really good. I'm just struggling to really hear it. Yeah, I think it is similar pitches, Dominic. It's like it's fighting for space in that part of the mix. It's fighting with similar frequencies. All right, that was Aviana. That was Red Sky. It's interesting. Love the grooves, but the problem I have is, or I guess one of the problems I have with it is it's similar to a lot of stuff that I've heard lately. It really works off that same formula of a lot of those atmospheric textures, those ambient textures, usually done by multiple guitar layers. But riff wise, it's a couple of big riffs with these big, slow, like chug sections, and that tends to be where the vocals come in. And there tends to be, like the Crystal Lakes and the Architects and the other stuff, there tends to be those almost like choral atmospheric guitar sections. But then they do a chug and they do a breakdown, and then they break down the breakdown, and it's like that's where the heaviness comes from, is breakdowns. I've always felt like breakdown. I guess I never got too huge into some of that stuff because I guess, not to sound hipsterish, but when I grew up, what I was into was a lot of late 80s, early 90s death metal and thrash, and as that stuff was growing and building, and you got your heaviness through riffs, and you got breakdowns. Even back in those days, were accenting and cool. They certainly gave you a chance to really go to work, especially in a pit environment. But with a lot of these newer bands, especially seeing some of the quote unquote down tempo deathcore, it's just these breakdowns and then a slower version of it and a slower version of it, and people love it. People really do, and I can't fault that. It's just hard for me to get into. I feel like you could do something that's a little more interesting sonically. Break it up instead of just break it down. But that's me. I think there's a lot of potential, and I think the production definitely holds things back. That I really like his clean tone. It's really good, but I wish I could hear it more. But with so much treble and all those high frequencies together, they're fighting. They're really fighting for space, and a really good engineer will be able to fix that. But that's the problem: is you have to find a really good engineer to make it work. I'd be really curious to hear more. No. Yeah, that Mari Hamada track was an absolute surprise. It was a total shock. That was amazing. I'm actually surprised I haven't heard more. But guys, we have been going for 2 hours and 40 minutes, and the coffee gods are calling to me. So I'm gonna call it here. Thank you so much for being here for tonight, for the past 2 years, or I mean, most of you I think came in like November, December, and throughout. And I'm of that. I know Robert's been around since December of 2017. Some of you have been as well here in the stream tonight. I'm so glad to have you guys around. It's so wonderful to be able to be here and to do this stuff for you. And I can truly, and Robert can tell you, because he and I tend to talk a lot. Some of you guys I talk with a lot personally on Facebook. You can find me at Brett Troy, or I've got the logo picture up there. But when I tell you guys I appreciate you and I love you, I truly mean it. It's not a game I'm playing, or it's not lighthearted praise. It's true. It's from my heart, and I'm really, really happy. So I will. I'll try to do another one of these. Maybe we can try to at least squeeze in one a month or something. I'd love to do more. If any of you guys are out at the Dir En Grey show in Houston, I will be out there. I'll try to shoot some content. I can't wait to meet more of you guys in person. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I truly appreciate you. Oh yeah, the different sense video. That video changed my life. I've documented that. That changed the channel. It really started taking things in a different direction, and it just shows what being open can do. And thankfully, I've had so many of you who are amazing and gave me recommendations that worked. I feel like out of the visual K bands I've heard, Dir En Grey are the hardest to get into because their sound is so complicated. But thank you guys. I love you. I'm going to call it a night. And it's been amazing. Here's to a couple more years. You guys have been awesome. I've been Baldman. I'll see you in the next one. Be excellent to each other and keep headbanging.